Okay, first of all, good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. BLT. This is the new Rusty the Rooster. I would like to welcome all of my fans to welcome the new Rusty with open arms. This is not an easy task for the new Rusty the Rooster, because Rusty is taking on a new role, trying to fill the shoes of the old Rusty the Rooster amidst incredible controversy and basically unsubstantiated rumors that the new Rusty pushed the old Rusty over the table yesterday at Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster show, and that the new Rusty is responsible for the death of the old Rusty. So we're taking questions at this time. Hello, Russ. Welcome to the press conference this morning. While we're waiting for others to join us, we want to hear from you, the fans. So please offer questions. Maybe we should add a few people here. We should invite people. So we are going to invite Jeffrey. We're going to invite Luella, Howie. We're going to invite, let's see, who else will we invite? We're going to invite Zach, Reagan, Roxy, my wife, Michael, Johnny, Eric. We're going to invite Buster and Ernie. We're going to invite Dale and Kyler. We're going to invite Mac of the Damaged Bananas. He's the other half of Damaged Bananas. Okay, just a few people this morning we're going to invite. There we go. Okay. We have been joined by Victoria, Chris, the new Rusty the Rooster from the Songwriter Showcase known as Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster Show is with us taking your questions this morning. First of all, what do you want to tell them? Oh, the new Rusty the Rooster says rock-a-doodle-doo to everybody. I'm Dr. BLT, and you might know me. Jeffrey Bowen has joined us for this special news conference following the funeral of the old Rusty. We are taking questions from the press this morning and also from fans. Any questions that might smooth out the controversy that's surrounding the tragic death of the old Rusty. So we're just waiting for questions to come in. This just came in. Oh, we have a member of the press that's just arrived. Carla Dunn from Rolling Stone. Yes, you have a question? Okay. Okay, let me make sure I've got this right. Carla from Rolling Stone magazine has just approached us with a question. What steps were taken to protect the safety of the old Rusty the Rooster? Well, that's a very good question. You know, safety is of utmost importance to myself and the newly acquired Rusty as well. And so we went well beyond what would be expected of us in protecting the safety of the old Rusty. For those of you that know the history between Rusty and I, it was rather rocky. Rusty signed the contract to come on the show, just a few months ago. And Rusty was welcomed by me and also a number of fans, reluctantly at first. But Rusty became very disagreeable and ornery. Rusty started coming into the show drunk on barley juice and started to be very disruptive. And also Rusty had developed an attitude, a very negative attitude towards myself. And but Rusty was pretty faithful about being there at the show, and playing the egg shaker. However, there were some bumps in the road, but once again, just to answer your question, every possible step that one can imagine, including going the extra mile, all of these steps were taken to protect the safety of the original member of our team. Hope that answers your question. Thank you. We have another question coming in from Jeffrey. Well, Jeffrey, you might have missed it. We had the funeral yesterday for Rusty, and also I took that opportunity to kind of share with fans the release of my new upcoming single, Haunted House. The funeral was attended by myself, my daughter, and a statue in the backyard who came to life, and with St. Peter. So you might want to scroll down there, Jeffrey, and catch that funeral. The whole funeral is available. It's still up there for fans to view. And we have Jan Buckingham, who has just joined the show. Today, the new Rusty from Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster show has graciously joined us for this press conference. And by the way, don't think that your questions are not important as well. We have members of the press here today. We just answered a question from, what was your name again? Carla Dunn. Carla Dunn from Rolling Stone magazine was here. And we have Bob Smith from Billboard magazine. You had a question? No, I'm not at liberty to answer that at this time. I'm sorry. Maybe you could rephrase the question while in your mind while we're waiting for more questions from fans. Do we have any questions from you, the fans? Oh, just to answer your question more directly there, Jeffrey, we buried Rusty in the backyard, but since then we dug Rusty up because we want to try to use crazy glue to put Rusty back together, and Rusty will eventually go into a museum of memorabilia that will be associated with Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster show. Any more questions? Kyler Browning has just joined us. Kyler, do you have any questions concerning the tragic death of the original Rusty the Rooster of Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster show? We will graciously take your questions at this time, as well as questions from members of the press. Bob, have you rephrased your question yet in your mind? Because I will not answer it. The way you presented that question, it's completely inappropriate. That's more of an accusation rather than a question. You know, I'm very direct with the press, you know. I give it to them straight. They come at me like that sometimes too. So the paparazzi has followed us. By the way, you guys were not invited here originally. I just wanted to know that I've graciously allowed the rest of you to attend. But I'm asking you to be polite, well-mannered, and to refrain from unsubstantiated allegations of either the new Rusty the Rooster or myself, Dr. BLT, okay? Just be polite and gracious, and I will try to answer all of your questions. Any more questions from the public? Because you are the priority here. We have the observation by Bill that, no, that's right, Rusty does not look like the original Rusty the Rooster. And your question was? Okay, the question was, how do I believe fans will accept a new Rusty that doesn't look like the old Rusty? Hello, Don. Welcome to this this press conference regarding the death of the original Rusty the Rooster from Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster show. If you have any questions for either the new Rusty or myself regarding the show, regarding the tragic death of Rusty, please present those questions right now. We just had a question from Bill of Billboard magazine, and Bill is asking, how do I believe the new Rusty will be accepted by fans? Oh, what was the other part of your question? Oh, how will this affect the ratings of the show and the attendance of fans? Well, I don't believe the ratings will be affected, except for the fact that I'm kind of hoping that the controversy might actually increase the ratings, but that's up to all of you, the fans. I'm hoping that you will continue to watch the show and that you'll spread the word about Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster show. Any more questions from fans at this time? Maybe we should invite a few other people. Let's do that right now. While you're thinking about some questions, we are going to invite other fans of Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster show. I think I'll invite my mom. Just going to invite a few other people. While all of you are thinking of questions to ask the new Rusty and myself, or myself. Okay, that's good. We're just going to sit here and wait for questions to come in now. We've tried to answer your question, Carla, from what magazine? Rolling Stone magazine, and Bill from Billboard. Tommy Baker has just joined us for this question and answer session. We are addressing the matter of the tragic death of Rusty the Rooster, the original Rusty the Rooster from Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster show. Still waiting for more questions to come in. Now's your chance. I know there's going to be all kinds of rumors swirling around about who was responsible for the death of the original Rusty the Rooster of Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster show. So I'd like to nip it in the bud right now by answering any questions that people have surrounding the controversy. If not, Rusty and I will be on our way, and we will close the question and answer period. I trust you're having a great Tuesday. No, there will not be any music today. Out of respect for the old Rusty, or should I say the original Rusty of Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster show. Let me talk a little bit about the origins of Rusty. Does anybody know where the idea came from to include Rusty as part of the show for Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster show? I think Jeffrey knows that Jeffrey is holding out on us. Well, the idea came from a show I used to watch as a kid that included Rusty the Rooster. It was called Friendly Giant. And the Friendly Giant lived in a castle and had some little friends. One was Rusty the Rooster, the other was... Anyone want to answer that trivia question? Who was the giraffe on the Friendly Giant? It was Jerome. And that's why the original Rusty's last name was actually Jerome. It was Rusty Jerome. Does anyone want to know anything else about the original Rusty? No, this Rusty does not have a drinking problem. The new Rusty has not gotten into any wild barley juice or anything like that. So far, the new Rusty has been very respectful. The new Rusty has been having to deal with all sorts of allegations coming from fans that somehow the new Rusty might be responsible for the old Rusty's death. It was a tragic death that occurred yesterday. I had brought in the new Rusty the Rooster just to fill in because the original Rusty was continuously coming into the show drunk on barley juice, and I just needed a backup, and basically I just brought in this new Rusty the Rooster, but the old Rusty stumbled in, so I used the old Rusty as a stand for my phone/camera, and in the process of setting that up, Rusty fell off the table, and Rusty's head was broken off. It was a very sad sight. Those of you that want to see the pictures, it's kind of like when you drive by an accident, you're not really thrilled that there was an accident, but you can't help but stare at it. So some of you might be like that, so you might want to scroll back and check out the photos and also view the live viewing of the casket and the funeral. So if there are no other questions at this time, I'd like to welcome all of you to join the new Rusty the Rooster and I for Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster show. I trust this puts an end to all rumors that are swirling around regarding who was responsible for the death of the original Rusty the Rooster. We can move on now with original songs, original Dr. BLT songs. And as I said yesterday in the course of the funeral, I will be releasing a new single. It's called Haunted House. It also features my wife Roxy T, and my daughter Cassidy Dawn. They'll be on that, and that'll likely be aired on KALX radio, and that will be probably aired on the show called The Next Big Thing. It's you can catch it on the internet on October 30th, and usually Marshall Stacks plays my music on his show every time I send him something, so I'm anticipating that Haunted House will be on the show. What else is coming up? I'll be working on a brand new Christmas CD, as I do every year. So there'll be all kinds of new Christmas music coming out, and I've got all kinds of old future classic Christmas songs as well. Hopefully we'll be coming up with a new show, and we will be very gracious in trying to include the new Rusty the Rooster. So at this time, if there are no more questions, why don't we give why don't we make the new Rusty the Rooster feel very welcome, so you can have the full viewing. This is the new Rusty the Rooster. We want the new Rusty the Rooster to feel very welcome. And Howie has just joined in. Howie, I was taking questions from members of the press and from fans regarding unsubstantiated allegations associated with the tragic death of the original Rusty the Rooster. Good morning there, Howie. So Eric has just joined us. Eric, do you have any questions surrounding the unsubstantiated rumors that are swirling around regarding the original Rusty the Rooster, the tragic death of the original Rusty the Rooster of the show Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster show? Just took a couple of questions, one from Bill from Billboard Magazine, one from Carla over here. Oh, we have a question that's coming in here. Will there be a memorial built in Rusty's honor? Well, we had, I don't know if you attended the funeral yesterday, but we did bury the body. Then we dug it up again because we're going to piece together all those broken parts and include Rusty as part of a. Rusty will be going into the eventual museum that will include the memorabilia associated with the show, Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster show, and we are considering also a memorial built in Rusty's honor. So that will be based on CD sales, and the contributions from that will be half of those will be donated towards a possible memorial built in Rusty's honor. Any more questions from fans? We have Ted over there from Time Magazine. Did you have Entertainment Tonight? I'm sorry, Entertainment Tonight. Billy Bush, formerly of Entertainment Tonight. Yeah, you had a question. Sorry. No, we're not going to. No, there wasn't a tape. Well, there wasn't a tape of the actual. No, Billy. There wasn't a tape of the actual death and the details. There wasn't a tape involving Rusty falling off the table and falling to his tragic death. No, there's no tapes. No Billy. Billy Bush is very aggressive with the questioning this morning. We have another. Oh yes, Eric. Eric is asking a tribute if there will be a tribute song for Rusty. Yes, and if you want to get a clue as to how that will sound, I kind of spontaneously broke out in a tribute song for Rusty at the funeral yesterday. It was very bad. It was one of the worst songs I've ever written, but I'm going to revisit that song and hopefully come out with a tribute song. Eric has another question. Do we know what Rusty knew about Hillary? No, unfortunately, that was buried. That secret was buried with Rusty. We do know that Rusty had some kind of connections with past political figures, but Rusty never was open in declaring exactly the nature of those relationships. So unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to answer further regarding that. Howie has a question. Was there collusion with the Russians? Well, there has been talk that there will be an investigation into that. However, at this time, I want to just nip it in the bud and tell you, no, there was no collusion. I'm acting in Rusty's defense, even though our relationship was rather acrimonious at times, and it was very tense at times. I will tell you that yes, Rusty did talk to a few Russian roosters, but it had nothing to do with collusion. It was strictly, I think Rusty had a couple of questions about Russian barley juice, and if it was stronger than the barley juice that is produced here in the United States. But as far as I know, that's the extent of any possible collusion. I hope that answers your question there, Howie. Okay, well, I have to go to my day job now as a prison shrink. So we're going to have to... Oh, Billy Bush has some more questions. No, Billy? Billy, I'll be happy to meet with you privately after show. No, there was no tape. There was no tape. There is no tape. I swear there wasn't a tape of the death of the original Rusty the Rooster. Joan has just joined us. Before we leave, Joan, do you have any questions concerning the tragic death of the original Rusty the Rooster of Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster Show? I'll give everybody one more opportunity. No, Billy, I will not continue to answer the exact same question worded in a different way. Billy Bush is pretty persistent. I think he's trying to get back into the media somehow, finding his way. Oh, we have another question. The new Rooster seems very capable, but what experience or degrees does the new Rooster have to fill the void left by Rusty? And Barbara says, have a great day. Well, Eric, I was kind of put on the spot. As I mentioned, the original Rusty the Rooster was coming in drunk for every single show after hitting the barley juice, and I had to come up with a quick replacement. So to be honest with you, I had no chance to review the new Rusty's resume, but the new Rusty seemed very nice and friendly, and did not seem the least bit jealous. For those of you that might be contributing to rumors that the new Rusty had anything to do with the death of the old Rusty. So this Rusty had nothing to do, I swear this Rusty had nothing to do with the death of the original Rusty the Rooster. I hope that answers your question. Bill, thank you for joining. If you have a quick question regarding the death of the original Rusty the Rooster of Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster Show, we will answer that. Otherwise, I have to head off to my day job. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us here today. This is the new Rusty. Let's give the new Rusty a round of applause. And I hope you all make the new Rusty feel very welcome. Please join me again for Dr. BLT's Rockin' Rooster Show. And let's get those ratings up there, okay? Everybody have a terrific Tuesday. I'm Dr. BLT. And I'm Rusty the Rooster, everybody. Dr. BLT has entered the building.